What if all the RV content you need to make RVing easier, more fun, and inspiring was all in one place? Content that comes from experienced RVers, trusted creators, and industry experts. That's what we're here to talk about today. Dan, what makes RVTV different than any other RV content out there?
The content that we use is already existing out there on YouTube already, by all these great content creators. So we just put it all in one place so that people can get, just a big mix of everybody that they might like, discover new people, and learn things about the RV industry, whether it be, from the traveling end or, new products that they might like, or they're researching a trailer, or a new RV. There's so many different, things that we have, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, is a lot of time to talk about RV. So we have all kinds of stuff, and, people can look on our website, rvtv.tv. They can check out our schedule, see what's, they might be interested in, what's playing where. And so I think that, it's having a good combination of everything.
Anybody that's new to Inspired Travels with Patti, I'm Patti Hunt, and I created this podcast to inspire you to live life fully. For me, that is through travel. And that could be travel that's in your own neighborhood, in a campground, or traveling around the world. It is about the people you meet, the experiences you have, and the places that you get to see. Now, let me introduce Dan Dominski from RVTV. RVTV is a captivating video channel that explores the world of recreational vehicles. They have informative reviews, maintenance tips, and breathtaking travel documentaries immersing viewers in the vibrant RV culture. Whether you're an enthusiast, traveler, or seeking adventure, RVTV is your ultimate destination for all things RV. And today I'm chatting with Dan Dominski, Vice President of Content Programming and Sponsorships at Cannella Media. He leads the RVTV network, the nation's first and only RVTV, all content, all day. As you said, 24/7. And it's great to have you on, Dan. Now, you are a traveler. You're a very experienced traveler, but not so much an RVer, correct?
I had really never RV'd before RVTV was thought of 4 years ago. So no, I have not really RV'd prior to that. I watched a lot of the videos on it. I mean, it always was intriguing to me.
And we actually started talking. I went back and looked. It was about 2.5 years ago. RVTV was just kind of getting started. It wasn't there yet. So we're going to talk about all this and how over the last 2+ years, RVTV has expanded. You have really embraced the RV community. You've absolutely been part of the RV world. So we're going to jump into that. Tell us a little bit about Cannella Media.
Yeah, so Cannella Media was founded in 1985 by Frank Cannella. Frank's kind of known to be the father of the infomercial. So that's where this all came from. So right now we have 120 plus employees between the Milwaukee area and the Los Angeles area, and everything from they were kind of the founders and found the Tybo exercise video franchise, and all kinds of stuff from there. So it's a very well-run company, and we saw a change in television and how it was dispersed and distributed, and so many different rooftops for streaming services and everything else. So we have the ability with the size and our just who we have developed relationships with in the television industry over the last 40 years, have been able to get on all of the major platforms or in the process of being on all the major platforms. That's the most important thing today, is just being everywhere.
Right. And we're going to talk about that. I want to go back and talk a little bit about why RVTV, when we first talked 2.5 years ago, why I thought, wow, this is a great idea. So let me go back for people who aren't familiar with my story. My husband, Dan, and I were living in Las Vegas when the pandemic hit, and about 10 months in, sitting there, and as a lot of people had happened, money was going out, and not no money was coming in. And as the story goes, Dan called me up to his office and he said, "Hey, why don't we sell everything, buy an RV, and travel full time in the RV?" And I thought to myself, I just laughed, actually. I thought he was kidding. So I laughed because for me, I had been in an RV like you, not much experience. Now, I had been in an RV for 7 days total. So we would go on small weekend trips in an RV. That's what I knew of RVing. And those weekend trips were close. They were a couple hours from home. So I knew very little about RVing. So after I was finished laughing and knew that he was serious, I said, okay, what would we do? What's living in an RV look like, feel like? All of the questions. And so we started watching content, as you can imagine, YouTube, on social media. We were watching content in all different places, trying to figure out who we wanted to watch, who we trusted, all those things. And I think when you talked about RVTV, now we were already over 1.5 years into our journey, but having all this content in one place just made sense. So talk more about RVTV, the network. And I was having a hard time explaining networks, TV show. So can you explain that to people, what RVTV looks like for?
Yeah, I mean, a television network is like a food network or a food channel or the Travel Channel or ESPN. It's a place that, everything kind of goes under. And then we have, all kinds of different shows that are on there from, 20, 25 different content creators from, the RV There Yet franchise and the RVers. And, we have the reality show, RV There, or RV Unplugged, for a couple of seasons of that. So there's all kinds of great episodic type things, and then there's the content creators from YouTube that really are the backbone of the RV marketing industry. I mean, they're really what the industry relies on to reach the public for the most part. It's done in a lot of ways, but that's kind of the major way that they do it. So, that's kind of the thing that was most interesting about the RV industry, is there's so much built-in content already made, that's already interesting and have already have millions of people watching. And, we're just another place for people to watch entertainment. We're no different than YouTube or something on the internet. It's just a different place. 25% of the population still gets all of their entertainment from television, so we might as well be there for them. We're not trying to replace any. We need, and we want to partner and promote all the YouTube personalities out there, because they're what is keeping us going. So yeah, I mean, we just kind of take all the cool people that we find and put them on television and give them, certain slots. So, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night at 7:00, the person that you like is going to be on. And then, you might, find other people, and, that's kind of where it all comes from. So.
And again, it's so nice having everything in one place. And you brought up a number of different things that I want to emphasize. First of all, I have some statistics. As I said before, when we first talked, you had programming that was 15 hours a day, and now it's 24/7. Somebody's up in the middle of the night or early in the morning, they can find content to watch. Some of the statistics that I had gotten there, that RVTV reaches over 1 million unique viewers, and you are partnered with many RV companies. RVTV generates over 2.5 million impressions every month, and you are streaming on many platforms. I'm imagining some of those statistics has changed and improved since then. Let's break some of this down. Obviously, people are here, they're enjoying the programming. Tell us about some of the RV companies that you are now partnered with.
Yeah, so as we go into 2026, the landscape kind of changes, as the new year starts. And for 2025, we were fortunate enough to have Blue Compass RV with their 105 locations around the country to partner with us as our exclusive dealer partner. And that was really, really beneficial for both of us. We got a lot of exposure from a partnership with Blue Compass. Our viewers just got to be exposed to just national service and just a lot of really creative content that they put together, and it was a great partnership. And as we go into 2026, we're not going to be doing exclusive partnerships anymore. It's just going to be, if we feel that it's a established product in the RV industry, we're going to let people advertise and, kind of let the free market do its thing. We're not a very overly selly type thing. It's not like one big infomercial by any means. Our content is, 22, 23 minutes, a half hour, and then the rest is commercials, just like you're watching a Seinfeld episode or something along those lines. So yeah, that's kind of what we're going to be doing for 26. And, we have some big announcements coming in partnerships and things like that we're going to be rolling out. And yeah, 26 is going to be really, really good. We're running short on airtime for the first 3 quarters of the year currently. So we're excited for it. And some new shows that we have that we're going to be partnering with some pretty popular people on. And yeah, so we have a lot of exciting things coming.
That's great. So I'm not getting any secrets here today. So people will have to stick with RVTV into 2026 to find out about some of these partnerships. So let's talk about the content. Let's get into it. You did some name dropping of people who are on. So these are YouTubers, people who are producing what we call long format content, which you then have on your show. Can you talk about some of the other people that are on some of the other content? I know RV Blogger is on.
RV Blogger, Mike and Susan do a great show. We have RV Blogger Reviews, which is, new all the time. And, Mike and Susan do, I think, probably the best overall, him and probably Miles RV do the best reviews out there right now. So yeah, that's I think, them and, everybody from like the Adventure Bandits. They have really good, just, day in the life of content, and they're super fun people, and they go to interesting places and kind of show you the behind the scenes of what it's like.
A lot of the people that you're talking about, you're just naming some of them. The content, there's so much content that you're putting out there, and it's like you're mentioning, it's for people who are starting out their RV journey to people who are already expert RVers, let's say, and even people thinking about this idea of RVing, because there's so many of your creators that are on RVTV that are helping people with, hey, choosing the right RV for me kind of thing.
Right.
And so a lot of the people that you've mentioned are great. It's just incredible content that is really helpful for people to watch, as well as entertaining. So let's talk. First of all, you mentioned RVTV. People can find the schedule, where to watch all the streaming platforms by going to rvtv.tv. What are some of the streaming platforms? How does somebody who's on the road watch RVTV?
Yeah, so I mean, we're really easy to find. That's all you really need to have is a television with Wi-Fi. We're on DirecTV. So DirecTV, both satellite, and they have their DirecTV free stream, which is, I think, the best new streaming platform, no cost streaming platform out there. So if you don't want to spend the couple $100 a month on DirecTV, DirecTV free stream is there, and it's great. We're on Roku, we're on Amazon Fire, we're on Local Now.
We also talked about the RVTV is also creating your own content. I know you had up entertainment. So RV Unplugged had 2 seasons. That's up on the platform. But you have your own as well, and that is RVer's Got Talent. So could you talk about that?
We're working on that for 2026. It's a talent show just like America's Got Talent or American Idol. It's, showcase your talent around your RV or campsite, and it's a show to be voted on, and get people involved and interested, and showcase all the fun people that are in the industry.
Now, we've talked about it before. We've talked about RVer's Got Talent, and you talk about talent, and that could be anything, because I don't feel like I have talent. I think the
Right.
typical people think of talent singing, dancing, telling jokes. I don't do any of that, but it could be anything, right?
Yeah, really, it's just anything that entertains people or gets people to vote for you. You don't have to turn it into a Las Vegas show or anything. You just have to entertain people for 2 minutes and get them to vote for you. So yeah, so you'll look for that in 2026, and we're pretty excited for that.
That sounds great. Now, we tend to meet each other at RV shows. So we've been in Hershey probably 3 times together. We've been in Tampa 2 or 3 times together. And you're going to be in Tampa in January, correct?
Yes, I will be. I'm pretty excited for that. That's kind of I don't know, it's either the kickoff or the ending of the year, depending on how you look at things. But yeah, we're excited for Tampa this year and everything that comes with that.
And so people who are content creators, are you looking for more content creators? Should they approach you?
Yeah,
Maybe I should have asked you this. Okay.
We're always looking for new people. The size of a platform really isn't all that important to us as much as just interesting content,
Okay.
something
Well,
that
let's get more specific what you're looking for, because when it is long
long form.
form
So it's going to
content.
be, YouTube videos, that are not vertical, so that's kind of where we deviate from the more popular form of advertising today, the Instagram and Reels and Shorts. That's not what we are. We're long form, we're television. People are watching it on, 50, 60, 100-inch TVs. So it really is anybody that does that has, RV content and it doesn't have to be any certain type of genre. I mean, it can be, we just go and show the places that we travel to on the weekends, and we're fun people, and that's all it takes. If we don't like it, we won't put it on. So it's no hurdle. We add new people all the time. We just added Motors and Campfires channel, and they just do a lot of fun traveling around and showing us different places around the country. And that's, everybody wants to see different things, and everybody's interests are different, and everybody's looking for a certain product at a different time. And, so, if we just show fun, relevant things, people are going to watch.
When you talk about long form content, how long are you talking about, just to be specific for people?
If people have stuff that's even 5 or 7 minutes, and we can put, shows together around individuals, so there can be, if somebody has a 5-minute review of a product that's, let's call it a sewer hose, we can put that together with other sewer hose reviews that other people might find interesting, And then there's a whole, show about the best sewer hose. And then you get, multiple people's takes on it. And, so it can be something like that, or, it can be that, Bill and Sue are really popular and people like them, and we'll have a 5-minute review of this, and then they'll have a review of what they thought of this, and then it'll be 10 minutes of them driving around to a campsite. It can be product driven, it can be item or thing driven, travel, or it can be personally driven, and just the same content for the same people. So let's talk and see what you have. And it's a great way for, if people are just making videos to show to their friends and ask people, that's great. This isn't for, working with us isn't for everybody. It's just another way to get your content out there. If you accept or take or try to sell anything from anybody, people seeing your product or you is of value. People seeing you and the products that you're representing or trying to promote on television is another level of just, I saw something else online. So I think that's really where we bring added value in, both to the content maker and then just to whatever products they're trying to endorse, and whatever that looks like.
So for people who won't be at Tampa or won't get the opportunity to see you, how could they reach out to you?
Yeah, they can just email me, and you can put the email up on the screen, or else my mobile phone number. Just people can call me on that at any time, and that's on our website, rvtv.tv, under the contacts, or else you can put it up on the screen. And even if it's show ideas or anything like that, we're always looking and open to doing different things.
So I want to encourage my listeners to reach out to you with any of their ideas. I think a lot of content creators think sometimes that they don't have enough of a following. Is there a certain number or certain following that you're looking for with content creators?
There isn't. If the content's good, it can be a one-off. Somebody can have, I have this great 1-hour review or just of my trip to Yellowstone. We don't care. If you have enough content and you're doing something that's relevant enough that, we'll have you on a weekly basis at dedicated times, we're more than happy to do that. We have, in the mid-teens of people that, have dedicated time slots that they'll know and be able to promote to their followers, when they're on. But then we have people who just send in stuff every once in a while. It's interesting. They're fun people, and we'll put that on as well and, promote it the same way. It's just, you just do it differently because you don't know when you're going to be getting, more of that type of content from them.
I just wanted to check because I talked to a lot of content creators, and, there are a lot of places that you have to have a certain number. So I just wanted to check.
Absolutely. And it's all, content based.
So like people who do campground reviews or a product review, I'm just giving any of my listeners ideas of things that you're looking for. So somebody does a product review, campground review, they traveled somewhere.
Yeah, what we don't want is like just a bunch of people shilling products. That's not what we're after. But, if it's bringing value,
right,
and somebody selling something, we're all for that. And, I didn't really say anything specific with that statement, but, kind of just it's
right
on its own. It's just each video kind of stands on its own, and there can be things that are very cell-centric, which is fine because it's beneficial. It's coming from people who are knowledgeable, who bring credibility to the product, and things like that. So yeah, I think if there's value there, we'll definitely air it.
So we'll have people reach out to you. Will you be in Tampa the whole week? Like,
Yep, we'll be there from Saturday through the following Saturday, and
okay.
yeah, we'll be at all the many of the events as we can be at, and we typically will partner with people to do some some parties that they have and things like that. So that kind of comes up a little bit more on the last minute side. So we'll keep you posted on that. But yeah, we're be doing that. We're going to be the major sponsor along with Liquefied for the United Rally in West Palm Beach this year. We were
Okay.
also that last year, and it's a great event for people. I think it's already sold out, but that's one of the bigger RV rallies that's not generated or started by like a manufacturer. So we're pretty excited to be a part of that. Todd and Sheila and a whole bunch of content creators are putting that together, and yeah, we love doing the community stuff and being involved in the RV industry and sponsoring things and all that we can do with that.
That's great. And people could check that out. And again, I'll put all the information in the show notes for people. Is there anything we haven't talked about you want to cover before we start wrapping up? I'm not finished with you yet, but is there anything that you'd like to add?
I just think that the more people tune in and watch, the better it is for, I mean, obviously for us, but for the RV industry, as a whole, to get just get as much exposure for products and smaller products and smaller campgrounds and RV parks and all of that. And really it could be a place for manufacturers to showcase their products, and that's kind of the one of the bigger things. And I think one of the bigger draws to long form or television is these aren't something that you can show in 30 seconds or a minute like you can an entire car. I mean, it's can be interesting programming and really show people on that next level. And yes, everything that's out there is online, just like television. But there's a reason why the automotive industry spends a couple $2 billion a year advertising on television. It's because it's where the people are. It's where the trust is. So yeah, I mean, I think that's really what sets us apart from just another something on the internet. Throw it up on your 50, 60, 80-inch screen, and it just comes to life, and it's really fun. So again, we're not replacing or trying to replace anything. We want to promote everybody that we work with and what they do to some people it's how they earn their living, and that's important to us to promote that as much as possible.
So it's a real partnership, and that's what you and I have had for the last almost 2.5 years. I can't believe it's been that long that we
Yeah.
had that first conversation. I was sitting in my RV. Wow, incredible. And yes, we are going to look at more partnership and just see how we could take this further. I have to say, I really appreciate and I'm honored that Inspired Travels with Patti is now on RVTV network. So that is so exciting.
Yeah, we're really happy to have it. As I mean, we don't do a lot of podcasts because a lot of it honestly is but I think that you have the best one going, and people are interested in you. You're so welcoming to people, and it's like just nice conversation. So thank you, and thanks for promoting and everything that you and Dan did for helping us out in the beginning and then recently. So you're really beneficial to us. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I am incredibly flattered. Having a compliment like that from you means a whole lot. I know you talk to a lot of people, and it means a lot. So thank you. And I want to again remind people they can reach out to you at rvtv.tv. Your information will be in the show notes, really encouraging people to reach out. So, for those people thinking, hey, I'm not sure if this is the right kind of content or I'm big enough or any of those questions, just reach out. Any manufacturers, companies that are looking to partner, I've read some of the statistics. It certainly looks like a great place to partner. I'm going to encourage people to reach out to me. If they have questions about, partnering in some way with RVTV, people can reach out to me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok now at Inspire Travels with Patti. You could put the information in the show notes. The show is also on YouTube. So for people listening to the podcast on a podcast platform, it's also on YouTube. So yes, I just want people to really reach out and get more information. I'm excited to see you. We are
Yeah,
recording this the middle of November, so I'll see you in another 2 months at Tampa.
almost there.
Thank you so much, Dan, for taking the time and being on
Thank
with me.
you. I will talk to you soon.